Having to come off it. Hey, what's up, guys? How you doing? It's your two favorite people.
Oh, yeah.
Just kidding. I'm Ty. This is
Big
our
Drip.
co-host, Big Drip. You were missed last night on the vodka stream. I'll tell you that much.
Sorry, guys. I get sleepy, man.
Yeah.
I can't be up that late. I got a bedtime. I got homework to do. My mom says no, so I'm gonna fight it.
But today is a special day as part of our month-long February guest spot. We did a whole lineup, and today we're joined by two of my favorite people. We have Matthew and Taylor from LightCast podcast and The Culture Nerd, respectively. How are we doing?
I am.
Caught you snacking.
Yeah, we did.
This is brain power right here.
Caught you snacking. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. I really do appreciate it, and I'll never be able to repay you as much as you helped. So as always, guys, make sure you subscribe to the channel, follow on all podcast platforms, join our new Patreon program through Patreon. All the links are in the description, but I don't want to waste too much time today. Lot going on. So you're doing like a whole shakeup of the show, which, I mean, you're announcing a new host on March 10th. And then you have a big interview coming up on Wednesday, I believe, right?
Yeah, that the interview that will kind of sparked an online community.
Yeah.
It's been pretty funny. I mean, like, I've been laughing about it, honestly. I think Matt and I are getting a good joke. We're kind of enjoying the fact that the internet wants to cancel us over this, which is kind of amazing.
Yeah, I don't really understand what's totally going on. So someone had mentioned that you guys have been getting a lot of kickback for it. And
so much. That's like the nice way of saying it.
Yes, the nice way of saying it. Can you I don't want to focus too much on it, but can you go into a little bit of detail on like maybe what your aspect or the way you're seeing it, what's coming into you?
All right, since Matt's laughing, so a little context. In the past year or so, the Snyder Cut community has kind of just believed that this actor, Sam Benjamin, has been quietly cast and is playing Hal Jordan Green Lantern in the upcoming Justice League movie. And due to NDAs, he wasn't ever allowed to say yes or no. He wasn't allowed to do anything, but people kind of caught that he'd like certain things. He'd acknowledge certain things. Like he would respond to the fans when they would bring stuff up, and he'd be like, oh, that's cool. And he would acknowledge it. And this like kind of this urban legend that he was playing Green Lantern kind of happened. And this was before the announcement. So, I mean, you have I think the biggest one that propagated the rumor was Liz Wonder, the cosplayer. She had posted a picture on Vero of him photoshopped as Green Lantern, said, "This is my Green Lantern," like green heart and everything, and something about like if Zack responds, this would be amazing. And he liked the post. So people were like, oh my God, he's Green Lantern. And in the last year, we never really got any information on who Hal Jordan would be or if he was even in the film. But all the details that we had heard about Green Lantern and mainly what Sam Benjamin's role in the film was, it kind of made us think. So we would pose those questions like, hey, you got this 30-something-year-old actor who is an unknown. He looks like Hal Jordan. He's in the Air Force in his character. He's got a 30-minute arc in the film where he has scenes with a villain and a hero. And we're like, well, we can understand where the rumor comes from. We understand this whole notion. Maybe he could be, right? So we kind of were like, it's possible. It'd be pretty cool. And hell yeah, we want to see Green Lantern. We know he's in the marketing. We know Zack's always teasing Green Lantern, so maybe. And somehow that us speculating, us laying out the facts and saying it's possible, turned into us saying the internet believing that we said it is as a definite fact. Yeah. And we lied to everyone for a year, which has been pretty fun because that's not at all what happened. We posed the evidence and let people make their own conclusions, and the conclusion was that we're liars now. So,
and I think that's the best part of it all.
Yeah.
When you give people the information and you just put things in a straight line and let them kind of piece it together themselves after that, as we kind of, and I think that's the funniest thing, because we go back to like March of 2020 when I first had Taylor on. I had posed the question to Taylor because I wanted to know myself, and maybe Taylor had the answer, and Taylor was like, fuck, I don't know, maybe not. That was the real answer. And it was like, he could be not, who knows? But you know, it's basically the closest thing we've ever gotten to an answer is who is Zack's Green Lantern. Zack does have a Green Lantern. Like, it's clear. It's very evident he has a Green Lantern. There's always been a pushback, right? But ever since the rumors started to spread of Sam Benjamin, the best thing of all was that one post that kind of sparked it, was the moment Zack liked it. And that's something we've explored, that we are going to explore with Sam, and things that people are going to be surprised by the answers and the conversation we're going to have, because I think it's going to change the way, one, it's going to give people more insight into the film, and two, you're going to get more about Sam Benjamin, and three, you're going to be fucking surprised. I'm telling you right now, you'd be extremely surprised by what is being talked about.
Yeah, and we spoke about that on the phone previous to this, that you had said, you know, you guys are going to be surprised at what his responses are. And I thought that was interesting because, I mean, you guys have never really shied away from asking questions that maybe some others wouldn't, which is what I've always admired about you guys, right? So I just want to say I'm looking forward to the interview. I hope. I don't think that it's a good look for the Snyder Cut community, and I've said this several other times. It's not a good look to be attacking people or going a little bit further than that, maybe sending death threats or whatever it may be.
Creating burner accounts and harassing us with them. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if it's LightCast, The Cultured Nerd, Film Junkie, Ping Pong Flicks. Like, that's never a good thing to do to someone, right? That doesn't make anyone feel good. And it doesn't, out of all the good that's come out of the Snyder Cut movement, I don't think that, it's hard to say without like offending anybody, but there is a side to this whole thing that's somewhat toxic at points.
No, and it's kind of like that proverbial notion that the brighter the light, the bigger the shadow. I mean, as a community, we have raised over $500,000. We've done so many great things for. What?
Oh, is that the comment?
Okay.
Like, what's up? It was
Andre,
Nicotina. What's up, Nick?
So we've done a lot of great things as a community. We banded together. We literally convinced a studio to release something that they had no intention on doing. We literally changed the game, and yet now we have this vocal minority of toxicity that is just getting out of hand. Yeah. And it's a shame because it's the polar opposite of what we all stand for, and there's for some reason these people. They're going like ride or die with this movie, and if you don't like adhere to their idea, it's die. So it's kind of insane that they haven't even seen the movie yet. They don't even know what's being talked about, and yet they have made up in their minds what the truth is.
Yeah.
And if your truth does not match their truth, you're the devil. So it's kind of
that's the best thing about it, though. Like, I mean, that's where I thrive. Like, you brought up death threats, and I thought that was fucking funny because
you got more of them this time than I did. The last time I got bullied off the internet, I said, "Fuck it, I'm out of here," and I just moved on. and like, I was like, "I'm an adult. It's a movie. Fuck it, I'm out." And like, I just left, and you were like, "Okay, I'll fight them," and then you like went like guns ablazing, like pumping out, like, "I'm gonna fight everybody on the internet," and then this time they're all attacking you, and I'm like, "All right, this is different."
What did you call Matt the other stream?
We're not going to get into that. We're not going to get into that because he got mad at me for that analogy.
I laughed for a good 20 minutes after that. You were like, wait, no. I
didn't mean it as like, I didn't say Matt was a Nazi. It was like, the analogy was that in that Indiana Jones scene with all those like little weak guys, and the one big dude comes out and takes off his shirt. I'm like, that's like Matt in the collective internet. And he's like, "Did you call me a Nazi?" I'm like, "No, you're the big guy." Somehow I lost it.
It morphed. And
I was also severely sleep deprived, so yeah. I was just like, oh, I don't care anymore. Let's just.
Well, I mean, there's a like that level-headed thing, because I know Taylor's history and things like that with a lot of the I don't want to talk about your personal stuff, but it got you a lot. Stuff? Well, yeah, a lot of your I don't want to get into that, but like there's levels of different people. For me in particular, if you send me a bunch of death threats, I'm most likely going to laugh my ass off.
Right.
I'm most likely going to be like, damn, that's fucking creative. You want me to go, murder my whole family and then put a gun to my head and shoot myself in the face because I'm fucking stupid. I mean,
yeah, the Amityville style, you need to just off everybody.
Yeah, I basically need to do that plot. And I'm like, wow, that's pretty fucking creative. Whoever came up with that must have a very creative mind.
I disagree with you, so end your bloodline. Yeah,
right. Like, you're wrong, or no, you're bringing the biggest thing to me, and the biggest irony of this all. And I look at the irony of it because I think it's hilarious to me. I love it. Is that we are bringing somebody on the show that everybody has always wondered and wanted to ask the question directly. And nobody had ever got the opportunity to do so. And so finally, we've been talking back and forth with Sam for quite a long time. And it was always a question of, could this ever happen? Could you ever get on? He is on NDAs. He is very keeping to his NDA, and nothing that, he says on the show is breaking the NDA. And so that's something we had to navigate around. That's something that we had to be very strategic, something we're going to have to be very smart about, and something that's going to be very informative for a lot of people on how this really goes. Because you get into the world of film Twitter and everybody's a fucking expert. Everybody's jumping on Wikipedia in the first 5 minutes, searching up the most random shit they can find. Right. But they're not taking into account that not every situation is the same, and not every NDA is the same.
That when people fight you on Twitter and they pull up Wikipedia screenshots, and I'm like, if you have to use Wikipedia to win your point, you're not educated enough to win this argument.
Yeah,
Wikipedia is not the way to go.
Yeah,
you're lost the moment you fucking cite Wikipedia.
Yeah,
I'll just say that.
Wikipedia, it's like, if any school will basically fail your paper for citing Wikipedia, that should also apply to life. Like if you have to go to Wikipedia to get your answers, not what you should be doing.
Right.
You should reevaluate. Yeah.
You should.
And this isn't new to you. I mean, okay, so, and we've talked about this before. So this isn't something that's new to, okay, so this, people like coming at you like this. A lot of people came at you when you dropped the Batman information, right? In a similar way.
Yeah. And, oh my God, I love that.
It was the Justice Con one. This is the biggest conception though, because I was getting into the irony of it. So if we get into the irony that we're having Sam Benjamin on the show, and this goes in relation to Batman, if we get Sam Benjamin on the show and people are hating us, but they're fans of the movie, they need to understand that Sam Benjamin's part of this movie. So why are you hating on the movie with Sam Benjamin in it and hating on Sam Benjamin or us in relation to bringing people on the show that are related? Like the irony there is hilarious. But when you go back to what Taylor did back in, I think it was September, was it June, July, where you said, well, be prepared to see Ben Affleck soon at Comic-Con. And then it was Justice Con. It was the same thing. And
so the context to that, and I think this is where a lot of people got like full on, like, I need to murder Taylor for, was so after they announced it, there were certain individuals that were trying to peddle this. Zack and Ben don't like each other, and the reason Ben quit was because of Zack. And there was this whole narrative that Ben was never coming back because he didn't want to do anything with Zack again. And then I heard the news that he's willing to come back if Zack comes back. And I told them, hey, they want to move forward with the project. If Zack comes aboard, Ben will come aboard. Yeah. And if you guys want proof, I heard that he's supposed to show up at Comic-Con. And that was when they had Comic-Con and when the plan was to do this thing. And then Warner Brothers withdrew completely from Comic-Con. So it led a lot of people to assume that, that must be Justice Con because that's the next thing. But that was before DC Fandom came out. So I was like, it's possible. I mean, if they're not doing Comic-Con, it could be Justice Con. Then they announced DC Fandom, and I'm like, okay, Zack's going to be here. within 30 seconds of Zack appearing, Ben's going to be on that thing. And they're like, oh, you're a liar. He's not going to show up. And I'm like, all right, well, and I think somebody even screenshot it. It's like, if Ben doesn't show up within 30 seconds, I get to own this guy's website. And then like within 30 seconds, Ben showed up. And I'm like, ha, there it is. Suck it, internet. So,
well, it wasn't even that. It was Ben was announced to return back as Batman a day before the event,
and
which was
that was also
a leak.
part of it, because I said flat out, like, so Ben, they want to do Ben as a show, they want to do this, but what they agreed to first was put him in the Flash, and so many people were like, oh, he's not coming back with the Flash, you're a liar. Then he announced for the Flash, and then they'd be just, he's not coming back for a show, you're a liar. I'm like, but you skipped the first part.
Right.
It was a 2-part statement. He's coming back to the Flash first.
We don't listen. We don't listen here. We interpret and we assume what you say, and we'll fill in the blanks because that's the internet.
Let me tell you what you said. I'm like, okay, it's written. That's not true.
And there's no denying. Yeah, there's no denying the fact that you guys have been correct about several things, right? I've went through and seen it for myself. And a lot of people, or a lot of, I've been called a, what did I get called?
A sympathizer?
No, a TCN slave or something like that.
Oh yeah, you're a slave.
Okay.
That was when the whole, the article came out and people had mistook it. And I just said that, no, this, the whole Michael Keaton thing doesn't mean that, Ben's not returning, blah, blah, blah. And we were later proved correct. Or
they said that flat out. Like, Michael Keaton's not replacing Ben.
Yes, and no one talks to us, or no one comes back at that point, right? They're like, oh shit, I'm an idiot. I have nothing to say at this point. But
Wikipedia has the information, though. You can get it there.
Correct. But the interesting part to me was that people dismiss the stuff that you guys have been kind of correct about, and they only focus on on the negative parts. And like, that's what I'm talking about with the Snyder Cut movement, is I feel like this should be a victory lap, right? Right now should be like,
this should be the moment where the internet is collectively saying, fuck yeah, we won. Less than 30 days. Here it comes. Yet we're still fighting.
Yet we're still at this, there's this discourse. And sometimes I look on Twitter or whatever, and I'm just like, I don't know, right? Sean O'Connell, classic example, who, you can like him, hate him, whatever, but he literally, he felt hurt by how people attacked him and called him out. And he told us, on the air that he was thinking about doing a follow-up to the book. However, the way he was treated for this book, probably not, because he just doesn't want to do it anymore. And I don't know, it's sad. It really is sad that we just can't all hold each other's hands and sing Kumbaya and watch the movie together on the 18th and just be happy.
Well, I mean, it goes to a very psychological point now that we're getting to a situation where now we're going into a toxic world of internet behavior where everybody is entitled to their own opinions now because we gave them a platform. But what they're not entitled to is the belittlement of other people. The moment you start to do that and you start to attack people, I mean, what's funny is that I get so many responses a day just on Twitter or Instagram. And the moment I clap back, the moment I snap back with a response, it's, oh, you're toxic, you're this, you're that. I'm like, hold on, hold the fucking phone, Mary Sue. Calm your shit. All right, Karen. You said something to me. I'm going to respond back. And the moment I respond back, you can't take it. And so now what do? You create a narrative as if I'm a toxic person. And so in that reality, that is almost incensed to the entitlement behavior that we see in society now. So I hate to say it.
Yeah, on a daily basis, it's like someone goes on Twitter and says, "Hey, fuck you, Matt," and you're like, "Hey, fuck you!" Like, how dare you? Like, that's how it is. Like on a daily basis, where now all of a sudden people rally around your response, but they were antagonizing you.
Yeah, I mean, we see it every day now. Like people are always somewhere. It's almost as like they're taking their online personalities and bringing them to the real world, because now that's kind of, in a way, it's kind of shadowing each other.
That's
And
right.
if you put someone face to face with somebody, I'm pretty sure they won't say half the shit that they would want to say online. It's just not going to work. And I'm a very upfront person. I'm a very straight person. I will say something to you directly as if I would say it if I said it online. I have no filter. And it's, I hate to say it that way, but sometimes I think we need to go back a little bit to that honesty where we can have a filter and use language that is appropriate, but we don't have to use language that's vulgar or disruptive or something that is just looking to create like chaos. There used to be a point where we can have conversations and we can listen to other people and have a form of communication that is developmental. It's something that we can build upon, not something that we can attack people for. And I think that we're in a place now where people think that they have a platform to deplatform other people just because somebody bought a $30 microphone and sits in the corner of their room and has a camera on them, and then they could start talking and just start talking shit. It doesn't work that way.
Can I ask you a question? Like, is this why you don't want to do it anymore?
That's a good question. That's not it at all.
I'm asking you as a person, right? Because I wouldn't blame you. I really wouldn't. And, say what you want about whoever, this guy, right? We love everybody here, right? I just want, is this why you don't want to do this anymore?
No, that's not part of the reason. The real reason is I love it. Like Taylor knows I love it. I'll sit all day and I'll talk to anybody. Like if anybody has a voice, and I used to do a lot of Let's Talks, and then I had to pull back, not because I didn't want to, but because I got really busy in my personal life. Mm-hmm. And I'll have conversations with people. I'll sit down and talk to anybody, and I can have a joke. I could take a joke. I could take humor. But when we start to get on a really meticulous level, and we're having this vibe, this really, my friend calls it like we're having a dude vibe, right? We're just connected. We're having a conversation. When you're in that zone, when you're in the zone, that's what I love. I love that in the zone moment. And you can see them in my interviews with some people that have been on the show where we're just in it. Like it don't matter what we're talking about. We're just in it. And the reason why I stepped away from the show and I'm going to be, on March 17th is because, one, I changed the format of this show to use resources that I had working in film to educate people on a film that was very dear to me. Like I followed Man of Steel since the beginning. So when somebody comes out and says, well, this, LightCast hasn't been here, part of this movement or whatever, it's like, no, calm the fuck down, chief. You don't run shit. I showed up at the theater. I put money into this movie. I was there the moment the fucking movie came out in theaters. I was standing in line to watch this shit multiple times since Man of Steel and prior. And it's like, I was there. So don't tell me that I don't know what I'm talking about. Don't tell me that I wasn't there as a fan. I was. And when I showed up from my professional side to be like, you know what? I want to change the format of the show to get people to really listen to people that might know more than the blogs that are lying to people, the clickbait articles that are doing it for shit that is ridiculous, like to get more money or to drive up their revenue service or to put more ads on their fucking website. Like I don't need 50 fucking ads to tell me I need to buy medication. Maybe I need to buy medication because I'm on your fucking website. Like I'm like, you know what I mean? Like that's where I'm at in this point where my people attack me because they think that I have a Manscaped ad or I have all these ads or whatever. They need to understand that I don't make money off of the show. I do it non-profitly. Right. So everything we add goes back into the show to pay for the server, and to also we donate a lot of those funds to ADA. So a lot of the money that is raised goes back to the server and the ADA, which is the American Diabetes Association. Yeah. So it's quite interesting. And we did a whole run where we donated everything we had to Us United, but it's like, or not Us United, the AFSP. And it's funny because people aren't educated enough to ask the fucking question, or they're too afraid because they know the answer they're going to get is not the answer they want. So they create a narrative. They take a piece of clip that is out of context, and then they put it into something that they want to spin it in. And that's just kind of that's kind of what I wanted to do with the show, is I wanted to highlight those areas and expose people for the things they're doing. And I hoped people would have been able to have seen it, would have been able to have seen what was going on. And now it's to the point where I teach full time. I'm doing clinical work. Like I have to complete so many hours of clinical work just to move forward in my education. So it's like I'm getting more and more backed up, and I want to continue the show. We had a discussion that we were actually going to end the show. We were just going to completely end it until it was
Until I talked you out of it.
Yeah, it was Taylor and our producer Hussein and my fiance had pulled me aside and basically said, hey, you don't end the show. People love the show. They love the brand. They love the idea of the show. It's open. We don't accept super chats. We don't accept anything like that. And I don't hate people that do. We're just here to have a voice and to give a voice to other people that don't have it. And we want to bring people on the show that have the experience, because we're the only show that are bringing people on with experience. We're hearing other people that have no fucking experience talk about people with experience, but never bring the people with experience on. The irony of that is fucking hilarious to me. I'm like, why are you talking about something you've never done in your life when you can just ask the person that's done it?
Yeah.
Like, I don't get it.
Yeah, we modeled, like when we first had the chat talk about what we wanted to be or what we wanted to do. This is only like 6 months ago, right? And I based it off of a lot of what you guys do. Is you don't just bring on Sam Benjamin, you bring on the stunt coordinator, right? You guys bring on the whoever it may be, and you get like we had the Marvel Studios editor on. That was probably one of my favorite conversations I've ever had.
Yeah, I watched that. That was cool.
And donated to my mother's cancer fund, right? Like, I don't know, just when you don't expect the knowledge that comes out of these people. Like, movies are made by so many people, right? A lot of them behind the scenes. Most of them aren't Robert Downey Jr., right? They're not the face of the franchise, right? There are a lot of guys just feeding their family. None of them get the recognition, but I did like what you guys do, where you bring them to the front and center and talk to them about their life and career. So, I mean, I've always liked it. I've always respected what you guys did.
And a lot of what you just said was like you had spoke about how you can get lost in a conversation, right? And that's part of it you love. And in all actuality, that's kind of what birthed what me and him have going, is that kind of conversation that we would have on a regular basis. And why not put it on camera? Why not let other people join in and hear it? So I really understand where you're coming from, because on the same coin of it, it's a lot of times I think to myself, I'd rather be behind the scenes. I'd rather not be on camera. I'd rather not be in front of the microphone. I'd rather be doing things like writing or producing, whatever the case may be. For a lot of what you just named, toxicity and, people making claims and people talking out of their ass, for lack of a better word, right? So I can really understand where you're coming from, man. I don't blame you for leaving. None of us want to see you leave. But as long as, like, in our personal case, we're in contact with you. So as long as you come back to the show, I'm good. Still get to chit chat and still get to hang out. So I'm happy.
I'll make it a priority for sure, and I won't put it off to the side or anything. But
yeah, I think the one thing that Matt and I have been talking about, and in particular with our departure, is everyone thinks that it's going to be like Indiana Jones, where we're going to get on our horses and just ride off into the sunset and just and then move on. But just like Indiana Jones, he came back for another one. So there's always that chance we're going to come back and guest appear on the show that we left. Or we're not going to be gone forever. We're not like pulling a Nick Fury and burning all of our shit and just like walking away. Like we're going to come back. Like we're just like Matt's finishing his master's, right? You said, is it master's or PhD?
Master's is done. I'm working towards a PhD.
Yeah,
so there's a lot that I have to do
stuff going on.
to get there. So.
Yeah. And then when you're a teacher, you're doing all the other clinical work. I work at a hospital. My wife is expecting in the summer. We have a lot of stuff going on.
Congrats.
So we basically just decided, maybe we should, like, our home run is the movie. So let's take a step back and pass the torch for a little bit, and we'll be the guest stars. We won't be the hosts anymore.
Right. That's a beautiful thing. You really did. Yeah. The fact that you're able I was thinking about this before because I had asked him to give me a quick rundown before we got on camera. So I was up to speed. And, the first thing I thought of was if it was me that in that same kind of situation, I would take it as like, I did something good here, right? Because that means you have enough influence and a big enough audience that you have a little bit, you got a big mixture pot, all different types of personalities, and some of them aren't so great, but that just means you cover a lot of ground. So, and if it was me, I'd be complimented because I'm making moves and things that you say hold weight. So that's why, and we've always had a real respect for you guys and kind of look up to you in a sense of how to come across things. You're a great example of it, and genuinely, I appreciate what you two do.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate that. I truly do. I think that's great. I love that the show that you guys are doing. I think I've mentioned it before off stream, but I love the idea of how you guys are trying to normalize the voice in a way. And when I say voice, what I really mean about that isn't the personalities of opinions. It's more of the capsulation of society's voice. This is your generation. This is your voice. Like, again, like I think one of you said, is I work behind the scenes. I was never in front of the camera. I don't even like being in front of the camera. I don't. I tell Taylor all the time. I'm not comfortable with it.
The first 3 shows I did with Matt, I didn't want to be on camera. I told him, I'm like, no, I'm used to not being shown. I like anonymity. I don't like being, I don't like attention. I'm very much an introvert. I really don't like attention.
Yeah.
So.
Go ahead.
Just to sort of change gears a little bit. So what do you think it's a coincidence that every time that something like that's for the Snyder Cut is announced, that Warner Brothers or whatever announces something else? Like, do you think that it's, as you probably know, like it seems like every time something Snyder Cut related drops, there's always like a Mortal Kombat or a Godzilla thing right behind it, or this or that. Yeah. A lot of people, I don't want to get all like Alex Jones on it, but
it's a fucking aliens.
Yeah.
Fucking aliens.
Once or twice, maybe, but it seems starting to be very consistent.
Well, I mean,
there's a pattern.
There, I guess, if you're not saying conspiracy wise, but there is a pattern. The pattern's very clear. We just heard recently, and I'll take it back a couple. The moment that the Snyder Cut was going to get announced, I believe there was something dropped, but it got completely overshadowed. Like nobody even remembered what it was. But they tried to slow the steam of the movement down, and all they're doing is building this hype. With DC fandom and the release of the first trailer, it even leaked online, and critics were trying to already criticize it, but the official trailer didn't even come out. Like Scott Mendelson, I believe his name was, bashed the trailer, but he looked at the leaked one. So he pretty much outed himself right there. That's why we have not seen Scott Mendelson anywhere anymore, because he pretty much fucked himself the moment he did that.
It's also because Zack silenced him, saying, well, thank you for watching the leaked trailer. That was fun. Yeah. That was nice of you.
You're not part of the demographic. You know what I mean? Like, go play in your sandbox or whatever, your little playground. But at the same time, it gets funny in a way. So we know that
Scott Mendelson, I like that.
Mendelson, you meddle in things. You put yourself in the perspective of Zack Snyder. Every time I do something that is building this momentum, you have to look at the other side. Warner Brothers has not promoted this film in any way. They might have retweeted, but they never posted anything. They're not putting anything out there. They retweeted
the trailer. Okay. That's I retweet Jensen Ackles. You know what I mean? I'm a fan of Jensen Ackles. Like, but I'm not his sister fucking brother-in-law. Like, I feel putting it out, like helping to do this.
I retweeted, I think it was a fucking Kardashian tweet, and I fucking hate the Kardashians.
Yeah,
I just thought it was funny. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that doesn't mean shit.
Okay, that tweet doesn't hold any significance.
You said it much better than I did. I was rambling.
No, I totally get it. I totally get your point, but it's like, they're not doing anything to promote it. There's nothing that's being promoted by Warner Brothers because they don't want it to go. And I'll let Taylor go into that, but they don't want it to succeed. And there's a reason. Like, there's really a reason for this. And it's not something that we're just coming up with, but there's a lot of things behind the scenes that a lot of people are trying to piece together. But the clear and consistent voice here is, if you guys want this to be a success, even HBO Max wants it to be a success.
Oh, yeah.
They put out, what do you guys want to see on HBO Max? I had fucking retweeted that with a quote saying, fucking, this is what they're doing. Go and fucking show your support if you want the Snyder Cut universe to continue, the Snyder Verse to continue. But Warner Brothers is making it clear that Toby Emmerich is upset. He's frustrated. Warner Brothers is not doing any, and I'm not talking about Warner Brothers like France or Warner Brothers UK. I'm talking about Warner Brothers, like the Warner Brothers.
The one.
Like Burbank.
Yeah, the main one, the one with the tower, that one. And yeah, they just, I can't go into that. I'll let Taylor go into that, but it's like, you know.
What it comes down to is, if they promote it, then they are supporting it, which they're not, because they don't want it to succeed, because if it succeeds, they are then accountable. They are accountable for their mistakes. They're accountable for the 2017 mess. They are accountable for delivering more, and they don't want to. They want to just sweep it under the rug and just let it die.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And
okay.
Yeah. And that's what I was gonna say. Like, again, it's hard to not, and this is the part that's frustrating, is I don't want to sound what would the word be? Conspiratorial?
Yeah,
I believe that. Yeah. That one. I don't want to sound like that, but it's hard not to. Like, it's really hard not to, like, look and just be like, well, this doesn't fucking make sense. Like, if I was Warner Brothers, I would want this to succeed because I want to make money.
They don't make the money.
Even because Warner,
it's not gonna make Warner Brothers look any good, and they don't want to look bad, so they're gonna not promote something that's gonna make them look bad. So they're like, yeah, come watch this movie. So it makes us look like a bunch of fucking idiots because we put out the 2017 film that literally showed you a Superman with no lip. So we made a lip, and we gave him a new hand, and we made him fly. We don't want to promote the movie that makes Superman look like Superman. We're going to promote the movie that literally we tarnished, and we said, hey, look, we're going to put this guy that abused people on set, and this person that tarnished the film. Oh, and this person that supported the abuse. They're not going to want to put the other movie in front of that. They're going to keep pushing that 2017 film, because if they promote Zack Snyder's Justice League, they're going to have to acknowledge the fact that pretty much acknowledges the fact that, yeah, we fucked up. And I don't remember the last time Warner Brothers took accountability for shit.
Yeah. And I guess in a perfect world, I suppose that, like, at least from my perspective, like, I would just admit, listen, I was wrong. Like, we went about it wrong. Right. But we want it to succeed now. And I mean, they cast Sasha Calle as Supergirl. She's from Boston.
Yeah. So
and I had made the comment, oh, I wonder if that scene in Man of Steel will pay off, like the open pod, like if Supergirl, I don't know,
it's supposed to pay off in Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Ooh, okay.
I mean, it's gonna be acknowledged in that movie. I mean, I'm just repeating something that Zack said, but it's there. I mean, I'm not going to go into it, but
all I would want is Warner Brothers just to one day just tweet, "Our bad. This is what you should get," and then just put the trailer out. That's all you have to do. Just say,
you know how many fans you'll get just doing that? Like, dude, clapping, people supporting. You'll have videos on every fucking channel. You'll probably get a couple of those people. Oh, Warner Brothers is giving in to Zack's demands. It's like, no. It's about accepting the fact that you fucked up.
Yeah,
humility goes a long way. But it's impossible in Hollywood. It's amazing.
Exactly.
Egos. I mean, look,
people they make mistakes, but all of us watching, we know damn right well, if you just acknowledge it and move on, everything would be much, much better. But for whatever reason, that person isn't seeing it. And just like you said, Taylor, it's 10 times worse in Hollywood. These are big corporations, and Hollywood, they treat like they're on their own little planet, right? They're not even part of the rest of us. They're special. So they don't have to acknowledge things, and they have money, so we can do whatever we want. Basically, sweep it under the rug is a real thing.
Well, they understand the media culture. They understand that if we drop something today, everyone's going to forget about tomorrow. But the problem is, there's a lot of sites out there and there's a lot of channels out there that do forget about tomorrow because, one, they might be under, like part of the pocket, or what I say, like you're in the pocket, or at the same time, they might have a memory problem. Like, did you guys not just forget that Hamada forgot to apologize to the rest of everybody else? I mean, he apologized to Ray, but he didn't apologize, and he still hasn't. We know this because Ray's putting it out there.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Ray said that don't just apologize to me, or don't apologize to me, apologize to everyone else. And
this happens all the time. Ray's not the first person. Don't anybody think that Ray is the first person to be going through this, is what I mean. Ray is the first person I've seen to ever come out and be like, hey, this is the shit that happened then. And guess what? I'm going to be the voice. And there's 80 other people that were part of this. And at the same time, nobody is taking that into account. People forget about it like it was, oh, Ray got kicked out of the film. No, Ray left the film. It's like, no, hold on, fuck nuts. Let's hold on here and look at the facts. Like, to me, I get to that point where I'm just like, you really have not been paying attention. Ray never left the film. Ray made a statement basically saying that I will not participate in Hamada's, any production Hamada's in until basically he holds accountability. That shows you the egotistical value that Hamada believes that he does not need to apologize to all the other people. I apologize to Ray. That's enough for me. I'm not even going to do it publicly. We're not even going to announce it. Hey, and by the way, look, Supergirl's coming.
Yeah.
Or by the way, look, we're doing Frosty the Snowman.
Like, who the fuck cares about Frosty?
Fucking Frosty the Snowman. And they use the trades like ammo. They set those up to shoot a scatter shot like a shotgun and spray the internet with bullshit. And all these clickbait sites like Screen Rant and fucking what is that other one? The comic something and fucking Fandom Wire, all those little fucking sites. They want to do is take that shit and be the next Vanity Fair or fucking the Hollywood Reporter. And they're like, yeah, let's do it. And then all of a sudden they're spreading it and everyone else is spreading it. And by the time the real story is being diminished. It's being shadowed by this scattershot of bullshit. But it's the real people that are trying to get that on top to show people like this is the real conversation. What you saw is minuscule to what's actually happening. Because if you want this, you're gonna have to solve this. Yeah. And that's kind of where we're at.
Yeah. And I it's like I said in the beginning, it's just hard to look at this whole situation and not see something like there's a pattern, like you had said, there's a clear pattern. And I guess I'm just too optimistic, and I'm I'm always looking for the good in everything, or at least, trying to look for what might be good. So you had Deborah on the other day. I watched that interview 3 times now.
Thank you.
Really, really well. She had mentioned about the chapter cards. Yeah. So I think how do you think that's going to work well for the 4-hour thing? Like, I
think that is essentially the episodes just put together. Like that's all it is we're getting the episodes smushed. Like that's all it is.
Yeah, and
makes sense.
You said it. So for you, so if you watch a Blu-ray, right, you can there's chapters on the timeline, like on the little thing. So she said they were going to include those. Yeah. And then the aspect ratio. I've seen a lot of stuff on the timeline about aspect ratios. I think they've done something. I think I like the IMAX ratio. Like I like all the way that Zack films his film. So do you think there's anything to be said about the way Zack filmed it, or the way that people are opposed to it?
No, I'm a huge film advocate, and he shot it on film. He used that ratio. He used a ratio that's not very common in these types of American genre films. But at the same time, what Zack did was he turned it into an epic. Using it in that format, you look at the characters differently. You look at the scope of the film. It looks fucking massive.
Yeah.
Like, this is a spectacle. This is not something that you're going to sit down for 4 hours and be like, no, anybody that watches this movie and just goes, it was all right. No, fuck you. You clearly don't know. You clearly didn't watch it, because in the first 2 minutes that we got in a trailer, seeing the epicness of Darkseid, Desaad, and Goodness standing next to each other, they look like something ripped out of a comic book panel, plastered on the screen. And then you change that to like the opening shot of Superman from BVS calling out, like, it's setting you up for this epic grand scale of not just seeing like this much of the face or that much of the body. You're getting, like, you're not missing anything in the picture. You're getting everything, like everything that was in the frame.
Yeah.
I also like just like a aesthetic choice. I like that Darkseid's like throne room is essentially like a chapel. Like,
yeah, it's a cathedral. It's like this
stained glass and everything is super like, well, I love that. That's so creepy. Like,
Yeah.
he basically treats himself as God. So he has like a church built around him, which is insane.
Yeah.
What I like about Zack's films is, like, you can literally hit pause all through that 4 hours. You could hit pause wherever you want. Take that frame that you have and hang it on your wall. Like, everything is so beautifully just, it's such beauty. Like, the cathedral shot is as the depth, like the depth in it, the colors, everything's so gorgeous about it. And, you know, I've always loved how Zack, his cinematography and the way he chooses to do certain things.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of people I've seen most people think that the aspect ratio cuts off some of the side.
No, I saw that from a guy. I think it was the editor of Collider or whatever. Worst fucking, I have no filter today. Supposedly. I'm so glad Hussein's not here.
You get mad at you.
He'd get mad at me
before you attack that. People like, that's the raw, like right there. He's giving us the full shot. Like, every movie since, like, after that point, that's when they cut it and they fit it to the screen of the theater, or they fit it to the screen of the TV. That's literally how the raw looks. He's just giving us the raw image. So that's pretty fantastic. And worst case scenario, people can press that little zoom button on their TV remote and just full screen the thing. It's not hard
if you want it. If you wanted to get in. And it's funny because you have somebody from Collider, the editor or whatever, says something along the lines of, why do we have to cut the sides off of just to get this picture? And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, do you not understand how film ratios work? Like, that is the picture. Like, that is it. You're not, like, if you took, for instance, WandaVision, right? If I took I just watched WandaVision. That's the only thing that popped in my head.
They played with aspect ratios in episode 7.
They did. And what they're doing, and people need to pay attention to that. When it's going like this, they're literally cropping into it. And if you ever work on like an edit timeline or whatever, you can do that. You can fuck with the ratios and you can do it yourself. I mean, all they're doing is put it there and cropping the sides out to give it that look. And they're shooting within the frame markers on their cameras, because they have the mark set for how they're going to shoot it on their ratios for those scenes. But if you go to the full screen one where it fills up your whole screen, that's not the full picture. You would have to zoom that out and then get the picture of what they actually shot.
Right. Because if you've ever edited a video, you would understand like what aspect ratios, how you, because I can go through on my video editor, change the aspect ratio, and, you know, mess with the way it looks. And truly, I think the full screen, 4:3? Yeah. I think that one, it does. And it looks the best, gives you the fullest of what you're seeing. And these superhero characters or these superhero movies, they're meant to be these larger than life characters. And when you use that ratio, the IMAX, especially on the IMAX screens, they become larger than life.
Yeah,
and
they become huge. They become, here it is. Kingdom Come, right? I'll go grab some Mark Wade, and then we get this, right? We get these epic shots, you know, where we get everything in the frame. We get everything, you know, if we're going to get like something massive, I just grabbed the closest one to me. If we were to see that on screen, I want to see that, you know what I mean? I want to see the whole picture. I don't want to see like, give me that right there. You know what I mean? I want the whole shebang on the screen. And that's what Zack's delivering. He's delivering you the whole shebang. And I think people got to understand that Zack shot on film. He didn't shoot on a digital format. So a digital format, you can manipulate that in a way, right? That's a lot easier to manipulate. With film, it's not that easy in a way. It's kind of tricky. You got to be very skilled to do that. And you got to have a very skilled editor. You got to have a very skilled team to work on that. And I mean, I don't know. It looks massive to me. It looks insane. It looks grand. It's something for sure. It's a spectacle that we have never seen before. And I think it's going to change the way the genre is going to be looked at.
Yeah. So a lot of people are complaining. Did you see the cyborg shot with the cannon?
Oh, the placeholder shot.
Right. And so there's been a lot of people pointing. It's crazy that they take this gorgeous trailer, right? Whatever. How long was it? Like 2.5 minutes?
Yeah, something like that.
2 minutes, 14 seconds.
2 minutes, 14 seconds. They take this 2 minute. Oh, it was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Ironically, yes. They take this gorgeous trailer and they fucking find the one shot, right? And this is the one that gets sent to my messages saying, this is the movie that you're anticipating. And I was just like,
oh yeah, it is.
Yeah, I didn't know what to say about it, right? I don't know. I didn't know it was a placeholder, but I had my suspicions because
I just tell people, like, they're like, well, is this what you're waiting for? I'm like, hell yeah, it is. He's got 4 arms. It's fucking awesome. Like, that's all I've been saying. I don't care. People are dumb.
People, I mean, what is it? They did the same thing with Avengers, right? They put in Hulk in the scene, and then Hulk was out of the scene. And you're like, wait, hold on. I remember the trailer very specifically because I was like, look at that fucking massive group of people running down. And then when you watch the movie, there's like 4 fucking people. You're like, hold on, let's go back to this trailer. I've been lied to. There's a massive grand of people running. All of a sudden, there's 4.
Right?
Like the fuck. Get out of here.
Bait and switch.
So, I mean, I'm looking forward to everything you guys got going. And so I mentioned it earlier. So you're announcing your new host on March 10th, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And I believe you said it to me that it's someone everyone's going to enjoy watching for the future. Do you have any words of wisdom for him without saying his name? Or him or her?
People have seen him before, so people aren't going to be like, oh God, who's this person? So we both trust him. We have nothing to, we're not going to micromanage. We trust him with this. In fact,
we were going to micromanage him.
In fact, we were even
I
like,
don't micromanage anyone.
Yeah.
I think
you were even saying that you're like, hey, if you want to change your thing, he's like, nope, I don't want to change a damn thing. Like,
yeah, that
really
was
cool.
one of the thing. The first conversation we ever had when we approached him was, and it is a him. When we approached him, I said, what would you like to do to the show? It's if you take the reins, it'll be your show. You can do whatever you want. I'm curious, what do you have in mind? And he said nothing. He goes, I'm not changing a thing. He goes, why would you change something that's not broken? And he goes, I want to keep it just the same. I might, move the time, but that's it. The show's going to stay the same. And we told him that me and Hussein and some of the other people backstage that work on the show will still be supporting the show as far as producing the show. So we're going to be doing more work. So that frees me up not to be on the show as much. So that means I could start doing more of the stuff behind the scenes and pull people that I think would be great for him. And he comes from a field where he has access to a plethora of options that he can use at his disposal and his own resources, which is amazing. And he's going to have a little bit more knowledge in certain areas that I think people are going to gravitate towards. I mean, our new social media manager, I keep fucking saying this guy's a beast, right? Him and the new host I think are perfectly paired together because they have that same style. But our social media manager, like, I just found out personally that we just got a TikTok. And I didn't know. I was at home and my fiance is like, when did you get a TikTok? And I was like, what? I was like, no, it ain't fucking him. I'll tell you that. But when did you get a TikTok? I didn't know I had a TikTok. She thought I may have had time to make a TikTok. And then I found out through her. And then I looked at it and he's already at like what, 160,000 likes or something. Like he's past the 200 mark at this point, and he's just flying on it. Like he loves it. And he's taking over some of the Twitter. He's taking over some of the Instagram. He's coming in hard, and I love the enthusiasm. I love how much work that they do, and I appreciate all the work that they do on it. The new host was there for Debbie's interview, and he was there for Sam's interview. But we do have.
He said doo-doo.
Oh,
I know.
I was like, what is everyone laughing at?
You guys are children.
You want me child to laugh at that?
But,
I had to repeat it. I wanted to see if he was paying attention.
I was like, literally, I thought, right, you guys are real mature, huh?
No, I'm not.
I'm just.
Oh, perfect.
I'm a child with a couple children. So,
Yeah, you are. But we're moving in that direction. I think he's gonna be great. Everybody's gonna gravitate towards him a lot, and he's gonna bring a new, fresh voice to the show, which is gonna be great.
Yeah. Someone asked in the chat, what are your thoughts on Cavill's Superman going forward? Like is there anything in the works like to keep him around? Do you think he'll have a future in the DCEU after the Snyder Cut?
we've talked at length about this already. I mean, everything's hinging on the Snyder Cut, and we all know it's going to succeed. And at this point, it's not so much that they're waiting for it to succeed; they're just waiting for Zack to want to do it.
Okay.
Because he's had so much crap given to him from WB that there's a good chance that they could say, "Hey, here's the keys to the castle," and he's like, "Fuck the castle." Like, there's a good chance that could happen.
Well, the only reason I bring it up is because I know, Matt, you're a big fan of the hero's journey and Superman's arc in this whole thing. I did watch your stream. What was it? The world's fine. The
world's finest one.
Yeah, world's finest one.
It was world's finest. So I was like, am I mistaking that with ACS Wonder Meg show or? But I did watch that, and I did like what you guys like what what you were saying on that show. So I just want to know if
it's all the same. Everything's still in the and you know what? I don't want to like throw the new host out there, but he has some pretty surprising connections. I will just say that. And
we joked about this that the new host is a firm mix between me and Matt in terms of capability and sources. So he's got like sources like I do, and he does what Matt does, and it's the best of both worlds at this going forward. So we're pretty happy with it.
Yeah.
So I mean, worst case scenario, just kind of the end all statement with the Superman thing. Worst case scenario, he doesn't move forward with Zack's project, and he just continues to show up in the Shazam stuff because Danny Garcia is his agent, and I'm pretty sure she's also heavily involved in those projects too.
Yeah,
and she's heavily involved with The Rock, and The Rock wants him too. So
of course.
So no matter what, we're still going to see him.
Yeah. Well, some people were saying that like, oh, are they introducing Supergirl to kind of phase Superman out?
That's cute.
That's so funny. I love how the theories start the moment something's announced. Like
Supergirl.
Ben Affleck eats oranges. That's not an orange. That's a fucking peach. That's not a peach. That's a banana. And it's like, that's not a fucking banana. That's a fucking strawberry. You know, and all of a sudden it starts to trickle.
In reality, it was a cheeseburger the whole time.
That's not even Ben Affleck. That's Matt Damon, bro. And it's like, new source coming out. Ben Affleck hates fruit. And it's like, Jesus Christ. That's how fast. That's the internet, right?
Yeah.
But
I know that sometimes.
I know. That's the internet. And you know, I'll say something else that's funny. We were talking to Sam Benjamin, and we were doing a lot of research behind, the scenes for the interview. And one of the best things about that was the moment we said, "Hey, Sam, are you 20 years old?" And he goes, "No." Who said that? I was like, "The internet's saying it." I goes, "Welcome to the internet."
Yeah.
Like,
there's a cut example of the internet.
If you try to Google Sam Benjamin age, the number 2 result says his birth date was in the year 2000. And I was like, does that mean he was filming this movie when he was 16?
Yeah.
We need to find out what this guy's age is. And he's like, I'm in my 30s. And I'm like, thank you. Oh my God. Okay.
I just thought it was brilliant. I was like, that's the
Yeah.
internet for you. You can't
Internet's
take
great.
everything on the internet to be gospel truth, but I'm just like, you know, the best thing about it all is when we think about Superman, we think about what did Andy do, and again, I think that the timing of when they dropped Andy's video was very piss poor moment, because we just got the announcement that Zack Snyder's Justice League is going worldwide, and I keep trying to reiterate this to people, and I think Taylor is as well. Zack had to work his ass off. Like, you're thinking like one conversation, multiply that by like 100. He had to work his ass off just to get this worldwide. He fought tooth and nail, no compromise, to get the film worldwide. It's not something so cut and dry to people. You have different, and Deborah talked about this on the show too. You have different legalities, different situations, different environments, different contracts. Some films can't play in certain countries because one scene. So I have to remove a scene or have to cut something out. Some things can't have a character say this or show this. I mean, in China, they have regulations where you can't say anything about, you know, certain countries in China or showing certain parts. Like, that's why some movies don't play in some countries. And this one is going to go worldwide. So that they worked their ass off for that. And I think everybody should congratulate them and thank them for all the hard work, because this took a lot of effort, especially to kind of pull back against Warner Brothers and keep pushing that door, because, you know, I'm still surprised they got worldwide, to be honest. I'm still shooken that they got it.
I'm over the moon, and it just seems, you know, kind of shitty that news could have totally waited till the next day about the video dropping. There's no reason that it had to be that night.
Well, it had to be that night because Warner Brothers wants the attention. Oh, like, everybody's looking at Zack Snyder's Justice League. Let's drop Supergirl in the mix, but they don't understand that the internet doesn't think that way. The moment you drop something,
they're like a child who gets mad when it's their cousin's birthday. Yeah. Like, I need the attention. Look at me, damn it. That's what's happening.
Can I open a present? Zack's getting all the presents. Can I get one? It's like, it's not your birthday. And it's like, well, can I just still open one? Can I blow out the candles? Like, it's like they want to be part of what Zack's doing, so they're riding on the coattails. But the suckiest thing of all is they try to use Andy's announcement for Supergirl, which I'm super happy she is Supergirl. Yeah. I love that they went in that direction. I think it's brilliant. It's going to open up so much more of an audience to this genre, and I think it's going to be great. And having Andy on board, I think that is an amazing opportunity to utilize his skills and his talents. But what they're going to try to do, and I hope people see it, is they're going to kind of, I hate to say it, they're probably most likely, they're already showing it. They're using him in a way to kind of push themselves forward. It's not about the opportunity of the quality of Andy's film. It's about how much can we get back from it. Can we get an engagement? Can we get engagement and we can just start posting shit and getting clicks and driving attention? I mean, that's what we want.
Yeah. Listen, that's the thing is I'm so like, I want to get excited about the Flash movie. I really, really do. Like, I mean, we got Keaton coming back. You know, now Supergirl's in it. It seems like this is not just a Flash movie at this point, right? This is not.
They should just rename it to DC's Multiverse, because Flash is playing second fiddle to his own movie.
Right, and I want to get so excited about it. Yeah, I'm a little disappointed that Ray's probably written out of it, or is written out of it. But like my inner nerd, like I can't. Like I said, I'm always trying to see the good in it. So like, obviously I'm going to go see it, but like what I'm thinking during it is going to be a different story. Like, oh, you know, I wish they'd included Ray. Like if they're definitely doing like the Flashpoint, you know, storyline, I think you kind of need Cyborg in there, right? He's a pivotal part. And I don't know how they're going to do it without him. And if I'm not mistaken, Supergirl wasn't involved with Flashpoint, right? No, I don't.
Well, they're not doing Flashpoint.
So they're not doing Flashpoint.
No. This is
no. This is not Flash. We kept saying it's not Flashpoint.
Yeah, and everyone keeps saying, "Oh, Flashpoint." Like that's not what this is. This is kind of the same setup where he's like trying to do something, and instead of going back in time, he's just breaking through the multiverse and getting lost in the multiverse.
It's Flashpoint the same way Civil War on the MCU side is Civil War. That's not Civil War. It's the MCU Civil War.
Exactly. And
to me, that's what makes me so mad about that movie. Is that
And
I like
yeah.
the Civil War comic. That's not the Civil War comic.
You like that comic?
It's
I
not-
like parts of it.
I love
Oh.
the concept. I love the concept. It's a beautiful story in itself. Like a general sense, it's a beautiful story.
I thought I threw this away, and I somehow found it in a box.
I like parts of it. I think the comic on premise was a good idea. The initial setup was pretty great. The execution, it lost me in the second half.
Okay.
Yes, it was
Fair.
just
That's absolutely fair.
Like,
like
but to me,
it has
like,
great elements. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I love the Punisher element. I love the way that Spider-Man becomes kind of key essential
Yes.
plot turning point in the story. But like once you get to the end of it, you're just like, what? And then when the second one came, I was like, what? Get the fuck
Yeah.
out of here.
to me, and the movie has kind of always been. I gauge my movies, my superhero epics on weight, right? On what resolution that they have, right? In Batman and Superman, what was the resolution? Superman died. Like that's a pretty heavy weight right there. What was the resolution of Civil War? Nothing. Like that was my issue with it. They broke up, but he still was like, "We're done, but here's a cell phone in case you need me, buddy." Like it was still like, I'm like, okay, so what's the purpose?
I'm not gonna call you. I got your number saved, but I'm not gonna call you.
That's the common complaint I hear about that movie is exactly what you just said.
Yeah.
To me, Marvel's best movie was The Winter Soldier because of the weight behind that movie.
Amazing.
The weight was S.H.I.E.L.D., the government agency that was kind of running the Avengers, is the bad guy, and Captain America brings down the government. Like that was a kind of a crazy movie.
Yeah.
Like the weight and the repercussions should have gone deeper than just kind of a passing remark in the next movie.
That's right.
And the crazy part about Winter Soldier was I went into it like really not knowing what to expect, right? Like, the Russo brothers, I didn't know what to expect.
Yeah.
I didn't know what I was getting into. Just from the opening 15 minutes, like the ship scene, right? I was like, this is not the Captain America that was in Avengers and First Avenger.
Yeah.
Like this is a brutally badass, just awesome fucking action movie or a political thriller, I should say.
Yeah.
Great surprise.
Very good.
But like, I'm also my taste is misled according to the internet because I personally thought the best Thor movie was the first one.
Right.
But that was just me.
That was Shakespearean, man. I mean,
it was amazing. And
you get
again,
a Shakespearean director to direct a Thor movie.
Yeah.
You're going to get a Shakespearean story.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is good. I like the second one.
I've always been very classical theater with my views on these things. And I loved that the weight to that movie was that he falls in love and he literally has to sacrifice his love to stop his brother. And then he loses his brother and loses his love. Like to me, that's Shakespearean. Like I didn't like what they did later on. I thought Thor Ragnarok was okay at best.
It was terrible.
It was.
I'm not gonna lie, that movie sucked.
That is a fucking hard take, real? You thought Ragnarok was terrible?
It was terrible film.
Fun to watch, but coherently not so
Fucking
much.
stupid. I'm sorry, but it was generally. So I mean this in a different way. If Thor Ragnarok came out first, I would have been like, all right, cool. I can see the direction.
It was a bad ending to a trilogy.
It didn't come out first. We got Thor setting the boundaries and the stage to be like, this is an epic stylist, like narrative driven story. And then Thor the Dark World travels into the depths of Thor's character in a darker way, which is kind of setting up the third one. And then the third one comes out like a comic relief. Like, fuck, are we doing Superman again? Are we doing the Superman 3 where he comes out and it's a fucking comedy? And then where's Richard Pryor in this? Like the whole time I'm looking for like a comedian to pop out, and I'm like, oh, come on. So the fourth one is going to be dark.
I was waiting
right?
for Kevin Hart to pop up and be like,
It honestly was. I was waiting for somebody to come in.
I see exactly what you guys mean, but so many people hate, including myself. I don't hate them, but I really don't care for the first two Thors at all, especially a Dark World. It was very boring to me, and it's not. Taylor, me and you could have been more opposite, and I don't come at it with a theatrical sense at all with a superhero movie anyways. I'm here for the most basic, pure entertainment factors.
I recognize the council has made a decision, but given that it's a stupid-ass decision, I've elected to ignore it.
I think Nick Cage said it best, right? Nick Cage.
Yeah, you call him Nick Cage.
Imagine that. Samuel
Call him
Jackson.
Nick Cage.
Imagine that.
Yeah, so I mean, to me, I love stories where the hero is literally laying down his life, and to me, that was the moment that sold me on the first one, where he had no powers and he's like, you know what, I'm just gonna go fucking die and protect everyone I love, and he went out there to die, and that was the moment where he became the hero. Like to
He
me,
became Thor. Yeah,
that
that's
is-
Shakespearean.
that's the moment where the hero becomes the hero. Like, so to me, that was why that movie resonated more with me than the other ones. But
Hey, listen, I'm with you. Ragnarok was a little bit overrated. I liked it though. Like I just, it's not a movie like I go and watch. Like
No, yeah,
you know what I mean? It's
it
not
was a good movie. It was funny, and I liked it if I was fucking 10.
right.
Like, right? Like, and I'm not saying that everybody that liked it is lower, meaning like I'm not saying that. Like, it is an entertaining film. And if I want to sit down and watch something and not have to think, yeah, I'm gonna put on Thor Ragnarok because it's on Disney Plus. I can pop it on and let my nieces and nephew watch it. I can sit there and watch it and enjoy it with them. It's a Disney family friendly film. They get all the references, they get the Fortnite, they think it's funny, and I get it. But when I put on Thor 1 and I'm like, this is a little bit better, my opinion, they're like, no, uncle, this movie sucks. And I'm like, what? You're crazy. Go fucking pull weeds or something now. But like, I still like The Dark World. I thought it was very good.
Yeah, a lot of people give that a lot of shit. And I like it. And then like I found out like recently that people don't like it. Right. And I just like put my head down about it. I'm like,
I think it's like the bottom tier of like the Marvel ranking for pretty much everyone. It's like Iron Man 2 and Thor: The Dark World are like the bottom two.
Yeah.
And I like those two, honestly. I thought Iron Man 2 was fine.
Iron Man 3 is like the bottom of the barrel.
To me, yeah, a lot of people put that in their top 10, and I think they're crazy because that
What?
movie's just a wreck.
That movie is terrible.
There was so many like, and
Thor is better than that movie.
When we spoke to Jeffrey Ford, who was the editor with Marvel, he had told us about all these background issues. Like Robert Downey Jr. like got injured during middle of filming, so they had to like create the movie in previs. Like there's a whole story on why that movie didn't work.
Yeah.
And he told us all about it. And once he said it, I was like, they pretty much made the movie without Robert Downey Jr., filmed his scenes after, and then put him into the already made movie. So, and they, like, it was a train wreck.
And you know what? It still looks better than 2017 Justice League. Let's just admit that, right?
This is true. This is true.
But,
Yeah.
I can't get over that someone sat in a room and was like, all right, so
this works.
we're gonna fucking that movie Zack made, nah, good. I'm all set. Let's start.
somebody sat in a room and looked at Steppenwolf and been like, no, we can't have that.
Nope, too scary.
Put that guy in there. Put the one that looks like, what's that actor from Schindler's List? That guy. Put that guy in there. That's going to be Steppenwolf. And it's like...
Nicotina brought it up the other night, how 2017 Steppenwolf looks like a background character in Pirates of the Caribbean. I almost pissed my pants laughing.
That's a good way. Yeah, it is.
That's pretty funny.
Like that shark dude in the background. He's just like, yeah, shark.
Yeah.
I
mean...
Fish people.
Yes.
Well, I saw a comment in the thing, and it had something to do with Ray Fisher and Kiersey Clemons. And part of the biggest thing about Ray Fisher's character in The Flash, and why I loved how Ray Fisher said he was very crucial to the role of Flash. And again, I keep going back to this. Warner Brothers has never acknowledged his tweets or his statement about leaving the film. And if they're putting out Supergirl to kind of shadow that, they still need to acknowledge, is Ray in the picture or not in the picture? Because I'm still going with Barbara Muschietti, who said, of course he's in the picture.
Yeah.
She put that out there that he's still, he's in the movie. But if we come out of this right and we realize that they're not even going to acknowledge it, then it's not something I really want to support personally. I do want to watch the movie because I love Andy and I don't want to not support those fine directors and filmmakers, but I can't support something where they're not acknowledging the fact that their own employee is having an issue, and you're pretty much saying that it's okay to have an issue. We're not going to acknowledge you. Yeah. And they need to understand that we are patrons, right? We're patrons to their films. They need to acknowledge the fans as well. And some people will probably argue with my statement right there, but they need to understand that, for instance, if I don't like it, I can leave. I understand that. Like, trust me, I fully understand that. I can leave. And I'm not voicing a boycott. I don't boycott anything. But what I'm saying is, if you want my Patreonism, I think is the word. I don't even know if it is.
Patronage.
Yeah, if you want my patronage, you need to kind of, in a way.
You're an English teacher.
Yeah, I know, right? It's so fucking funny. What's funny is that everybody thinks English teachers can spell correctly or like have every word in the dictionary.
False.
They
call me
That's a lie.
And my name doesn't have an A in it.
We're good at deciphering and putting things.
Before you,
I know you got to run.
I do got to run.
Really appreciate you coming on.
Well, thanks for having me. Next time, I will try to commit more time to you guys. I'll try to make something work. I just, I had plans today, my wife's anniversary, so I was waiting for her to not be home, and she's home. So
you're in trouble.
We'll keep Matt for a couple more minutes and probably wrap things up anyway. So appreciate you coming on. Victory lap. Keep that victory lap. Yep. Think positive and shy away from that negativity. Yeah. No, it's like I always say with Matt, it's a good time to be a DC fan. And despite the toxicity, this is the victory lap. So you know it, my friend. Good times.
Taylor, have a good night. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me. Bye, guys.
So now that he's gone,
now we can really open it up.
We can say some things. What the fuck was I even talking about? Oh, Ray Fisher's character. And if Warner Brothers wants, to push forward with this, Ray Fisher's character is very crucial because Zack Snyder's Justice League is going to kind of lead in this direction, right? That was always the intentional plan. After Justice League 1, we go into the Flash eventually, right? It was always set up to go that way. Not only was it the Flash, it was Batman's story, which would be very coincidental, right? If we already have the Flash coming. And why did they wait so long for the Flash? Why didn't they just start filming a long time ago, right after Justice League 2017? Well, they didn't. They went in a different direction, and then now all of a sudden Zack Snyder's Justice League's coming, and now the film's going to go and start production in April, which is after the release of the film. Yeah. Very coincidental, I think not. But it gets into this weird lingo thing. Is if you have Cyborg, you have Ben Affleck, of course, it's Zack Snyder's Justice League is setting it up. You need it. You need the setup. And to go into that direction and to have that pivotal moment where, Cyborg is creating something for Flash and helping him understand something, because I don't know, we heard this before from Zack that Cyborg and the Flash have a conversation with Batman about, if I go through this point in the cosmic treadmill and I end up here, then that means I have to time it so that I don't end up here in a different world. I'm ending up over here in the spot where I need to be. So it's pretty much going to be the Flash figuring out his powers, right? And then he fucks up and goes somewhere else, which kind of creates like this Flashpoint epic story that we get into.
That's Flashpoint.
What happened?
That's on the most basic of levels. That's Flashpoint.
Yeah, it's like it has that element, but the essence of Flashpoint is in the book is really about a story of a father and mother, or I'm sorry, not father and mother, a son and their mother, and trying to reminisce in that ability. But it's funny in a way that if Warner Brothers, to me, they just kind of string people along and don't acknowledge it. I mean, I don't know what that says. I don't say boycott. I mean, I love Warner Brothers as a filmmaking company, but I don't love the practices. And I think sometimes we have to separate the two. And that's where I was going, is that if DC Films is part of Warner Brothers, however, I love DC Films. And that's the biggest thing, is I love DC's product. I love Marvel's product, but I love DC more for the sense that they give me something a little bit more mature for my mindset. And if Walter Hamada doesn't want to step up and be a responsible adult and take accountability and set an example for other executives, then step aside and let somebody else come in and do it. And if Toby Emmerich is not going to kind of set the stage for his lower executive like Walter Hamada, then Toby's got to step to the side and let somebody else do it, because we're living in a society now where, and I hate to fucking say that line because I know the video of Zack Snyder's Justice League's out there, but we live in a society now where people think it's not okay to do these things, and we kind of have to go with it. We kind of have to mold to society's engineering ways to kind of understand that people are fed up with the acknowledgement of harassing people and thinking it's okay to get away with it. It's not okay to get away with it. You can't do it. People are employed for a reason, and treat them like an employee. Stop treating them like an economy. Like they're just something you can make money off of, and then you can toss them to the side when you need to. And that's not how I'm pretty sure everybody here has a job. And if you ever felt that way, fucking quit your job. Like, fuck that. I will never work for somebody that ever does that to me.
Absolutely. Cause that's what's the word I'm looking at? That's an arrogance, right? That's a dangerous man, if you ask me. That's the type of person that should never have any kind of real power or say so or influence, because they'll clearly, you get the tiniest bit of it. And that kind of boils back to like these quote unquote Twitter warriors, right? Those ones who spread the toxicity, and the
keyboard warriors, the fucking
they have this false sense of, oh, I'm powerful because my tweet got 20 something likes, right? That's a big number in their head. You know, and that's the type of person that you want with any kind of power whatsoever. That person cannot hold a gun. That person cannot run for politics or have any kind of control whatsoever, because that's a dangerous man right there. Yeah, it's me.
Now, I'm sorry, I'm like kind of just like stepping in, like.
No, that's cool, man.
I mean, what do you in the Snyder Cut? Like, what do you? I know you're a huge Green Lantern fan, but. Yeah. Knowing what you guys know now, like what are you most excited for in the movie? Like in the whole 4 hours, a storyline aspect, character arc, plot point, whatever.
Yeah. It's the story for me. Like, I'm a story driven person, so I love to know what the narrative is of something. And to be honest, I have 4 hours of Zack Snyder's Justice League. We have barely scratched the surface, because I've seen videos online where people are saying it's the same exact story. It's the same exact plot. Darkseid sends Steppenwolf here. Well, it's like, no, he never sent Steppenwolf here. You know, Darkseid did not say, hey, Steppenwolf, go to this planet and take it over for me. It's like, no, that's not the plot of the movie. That's what you got out of 2017. And I think people are going to be surprised when they figure out what's really going on, because I want to see it. I want to visually see this narrative told, and I want to see the rebirth of Superman, because that's the crucial element of this story. And I want to see the element of and what Deborah said is probably still striking to me in that interview, and getting her to like acknowledge it and to really talk about it, which is, they didn't just go for the film that Warner Brothers just wanted them to drop, the 214. They said no, because it would look like a mismatch, or like a hodgepodge of crap put together. They went and put the 4 hours together, and then they're going to explore every character's arc in this movie and respect each one and give it to the audience, which to me is ultimate respect. As a filmmaker, as a storyteller, and as a fan themselves, that's ultimate respect.
Right. And that's kind of why I brought it up, is because a lot of people are saying it is the same storyline. And it's like, well, no, like you can't do like the addition here, because if that movie's 2 hours, right? And Zack said that, what percentage in the 2017 film is Zack's? Like less than 10?
It's like less than 10. We're going to talk about it next Saturday, but it's like less than 10%. And what I mean by that is not what's being shot. Okay, girl, I'm going to let her out real quick.
Yeah. So basically what he's saying is if less than 10% of 2 hours is Zack's movie, and we're getting a 4 hour movie, how is that even remotely make sense that it would be the same exact film? It doesn't.
And it shows us how much Warner Brothers really changed in 2017. They changed literally everything.
People are going to watch the movie and literally go and look at Warner Brothers, and Warner Brothers is going to get the heat. They know they're going to get the heat, and I think that's why they're being quiet. I don't know. Whoever's running their marketing campaign literally needs to reevaluate their position and start looking at the fans' perspective and not their perspective. Have a little bit of empathy for the people that are watching your movies and stop thinking about how can we save ourselves from this bullshit. And that's, to me, is the wrong logical thinking. It's not about how to save yourself. It's about how do I connect with my fans again? And the biggest thing, because they lost a big fan base, and I'm just going to point that out right now. The moment that Zack Snyder's Justice League was torn apart, and people went to go watch Aquaman, and they're like, oh, yeah, this is great. And then they figure out, oh, wait, this isn't the same universe as Zack. And all of a sudden you see the movie start to dwindle. Right. Shazam didn't get the money it needed. Yeah. And then Birds of Prey didn't get the money it needed. I will kind of stand behind Birds of Prey. I kind of stand behind Shazam. But again, it's not getting the money. It's not getting the investment that they thought they were going to get. But then look, Zack Snyder's Justice League comes back. They announce it. It's coming. It's a big grand scale film that's literally going to change everything. And they're at the point now where they have to bite the bullet or they're just going to ignore it. And I think they're choosing to ignore it, which is a terrible decision. And I think at the end of it, it is not the same film. And so when we look at 2017, and you look at the film, what I mean by it's like less than 10%, it's not because of the shots. It's because of the setup. It's because of, in a film, you can't just look at the shots and then ignore everything else, like the blocking and the setup and the character development and the line adjustments and even the lighting changes, even the editing choices, even the musical transitions, even the transitions from shot to shot, even in a shot to shot, in the sense of once the camera stops here rolling and it starts again. That's what I mean, is that those selections on the timeline were all individually chosen, not by Zack, but by some other entity altogether, and repurposed everything. So the whole film is a repurpose of bullshit. And so that's what I mean by it's like less than 8% of Zack's, because it's like, this is not how Zack would have set this up. This is not how Zack's going to do this. And shot. And it's like,
so funny. You weren't immediately when you said it, I heard it singing in my head.
Yeah. I don't think that's Dawson. I don't think Dawson drinks. But we look at that, right? And when you go back and watch the film and then you watch the trailer, you're like, fuck, somebody got fired for this.
That's like, all right. So here's a weird question. Do you think, because you guys have said that JL2 and 3, I use the quote from you guys. We need, when this might have been Taylor. I don't remember who said it, but we need to learn to walk before we run. The running's already planned. I believe it was Taylor who said that. So JL2 and 3 hinge on the Snyder Cut.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad you pulled that quote. I'm very surprised. I'm very surprised you pulled that quote, because that is exactly what we're dealing with. Is we got to learn how to walk before we can run, but the path has already been chosen for us. The path is already there. So there is no two roads of selection. Oh, do we go this way? Or do we go that? No, the road's already ahead of us. We already know the destination we're going. However, to get to that destination, we have to understand that the places that we move have to be in conjunction to how much speed we're going to pick up before we can start running. Because we already know how fast we need to go. We just got to learn how to build our momentum to get there. And so 2 and 3 are already down the road. But again, 2 and 3 are like, if I have to like visually do, this is a terrible timeline because I don't have anything to write on. I'm a visual person, so I'm always drawing something or I'm writing it. And it's like, if I'm here, right, this is Justice League, right? I'm put at the end of the frame, and this is 2 and 3. This is 3, right? That's 3. This is 2.
Okay.
So look at all this extra space.
Right.
How do we get there, right? We're going to have to maybe, I don't know, Ayer Cut, Flash, Batman, other projects that line up to 2, and then we have space from 2 to 3. And that was always the plan of Zack's, is to get to that moment. But when you did that, right, when you had this element of a linear line to this 5-film arc, which is a linear storyline, which is the hero's journey, you're already expanding in this open, vast world to keep going. Right. You know, that was always the intentional plan. And I don't think the executives at the time thought that no, we don't want to do that. We want to do it our way because we have egos and we need to feed our cats. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if they have cats.
So, and that's what I'm trying to reference here is not feeding cats. Not feeding cats.
Don't feed the cats.
Is do you think that this could exist? The Snyder Verse, if you want to call it, like, let's dub it the Snyder Verse.
Mm-hmm.
Could that live on HBO Max and then the films keep going, but sharing the same characters? Do you think that's a world that can exist, right? So like DC Films is obviously going to keep making movies, right?
Yeah,
they're not
obviously
just gonna recast everybody, or at least I think maybe after Flashpoint, I don't know, or Flash, not Flashpoint. I'm sorry. After Flash, I don't know if they're trying to rewrite things and do whatever. But is that something that you think is going to happen? Is that the Snyderverse continues on HBO Max and the films go a different way?
The things I've been hearing just from the conversations we had since that Batman Superman conversation, and then all the things that we didn't say, because if we did say them, people would lose their shit, or they'll like start to revolt, or they'll say, this is not what we're asking for.
Yeah.
And it's like, there's always the toxicity of both sides, and it goes into the popular opinion is sometimes it's best not to say anything.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's best to say it. And I've always lived on that opinion too, is it's always best not to say anything unless you need to say it. And I think sometimes you need to say things. And I think in this opinion, yes, I think HBO Max can survive on Snyderverse can survive on HBO Max. And it could, and it would, because that seems to be the place that will have the most opportunity to get this story told on a format that we've never expected. We're getting a 4-hour film on HBO Max. Just imagine what we can get for 2. Imagine how far they want to go for 3. Imagine how far they want to go in between. Imagine how far. I mean, Taylor and his team said what? It was 8 episodes for Ben Affleck's Batman project. Imagine how much depth they can go into. Imagine that spawning a Deathstroke story. Imagine that going into a Joker and Harley story, and branching off into that element of creating more and more. And HBO Max is thriving because they're all going to know the answer on March 18th.
Yeah.
Is it possible? Yeah, it's possible. But is it a possibility that we do it right away? No, that's why a lot of people are saying, why haven't they announced it? Why haven't they done this? I mean, they dropped little fucking little seeds everywhere. Ben Affleck returning. Ben Affleck returns as Batman, but they didn't make it a grand thing. They didn't do it at DC Fandom like they intended to do. And yes, they were intending to do it at DC Fandom. And it was confirmed by Ray Fisher that it was a thing. You let the cats stop. Don't let them stop. No, feed the cats, Gavin. I definitely feed the cats. But it's all fringes on Zack Snyder's Justice League. And I'm pointing at my other screen because I'm looking at it right now. And it's the moment that it drops is the answer people are going to get. Because people need that, they need that connection in their lives to be like, this is what I want. You know what I mean? This is what I truly want. And they're going to show you on HBO Max.
Yeah. And so, I mean, I'm really excited. And someone was saying the other day on Twitter or something that there's no way that Zack gets any more movies or any more deals or anything. This is one and done. And I was just like, if that was the case, why would he expand upon his ending? Why would he make it a larger cliffhanger? Like you've said several times, if you were going to get whatever the amount of money that you got, what was it, 70 million?
It was 70 million. And that 70 million has nothing to do with, I mean, you can look at the costs for visual effects for his movie. Right. I mean, if you knew, you could do the math. It doesn't fill 70 million. That money's going to other areas. That money's going to different areas of his film, and and also another film. And it's to fix and to repair and to pay for the score, for the cast, not the casting, but more inside of setting up the sets and getting things back in order. A lot of the things they didn't have to pay for, they already had them. Debbie said that the suits were already made. They broke a couple of them. They were ripping apart on set, which would probably look pretty cool because, the scene that they're doing and the scene that they shot was only 4 minutes.
Right.
And I keep saying that I'll say it again. Martian Manhunter was not shot during that time. It was shot months and months and months and months and months and months before. And that was something that Zack could do on a green screen in his fucking kitchen. Yeah. You know what I mean? He could do it in a little area of his.
I have one right here. We could do it right here.
You could just shoot Justice League right there. I mean, that's how easy it is. And he talked about it. People don't have to go to studios anymore. They can do them in their houses. They can do them in their garage. You can build your own. You can build your own sound room. I mean, this office is a soundproof room. That's why my fiance just lets me be in this office, and I have this big grand little studio that I got here that's completely soundproof. I can do whatever I want in here, and I'm not going to say that because then people are going to twist it. But
kind of what we have here is I used to work in this room. I don't work from home anymore, so we turned it into this, and this is the perfect little space. I truly love it, and we could if it was just dialogue talk with a background, of course you could shoot Martian Manhunter right here, and
do a podcast at the same time.
Exactly.
Martian Manhunter doesn't need dialogue, right? You could just be and some of the things that are being repurposed for Zack Snyder's Justice League is things that he already had in place, and now he had all this time to look at his film and be like, shit, I've always wanted to do this. Why not? I've always wanted to add this, and he's adding to a world. He's not let's not make it a cliffhanger and just end it. And then at the end of the movie, everybody's saved. Darkseid just dies and blows up.
Yeah.
And the movie's over and Superman's back to red and blue. Zack said it multiple times. The moment his Superman puts on the red and blue, he has succumbed to the anti-life equation. Means Darkseid has won. The nightmare world will exist, but he's in a black suit, and black represents rebirth. And if you know anything about the hero's journey, the rebirth happens in the midpoint of the journey. It doesn't happen at the beginning. Doesn't happen at happen at the quarter mark. It happens right in the middle. The rebirth happens at that middle point, and we're at the middle part of this story because we got Man of Steel, BVS, and now we're at Justice League. We're in the middle part of this story, and now we still have to get to the other side. And so to get there, we have to transfer from Justice League 2 and to get to 2 and 3 to get to that point where we're back to Superman, the Superman that everybody knows. Yeah. And Deborah said this too in the interview. I mean, she said a lot of things that were so surprising to me that I just sit back and I'm like, wow, did she just say that it was that's what happened? You know what I mean? Martian Manhunter's in the movie. She's saying it evidently so clear and how they shot everything and how the movie is in parts and you're going to be able to watch everything that has been being said so long ago is now finally making its way around. So people are more aware of what's actually going on in this movie.
Yeah. And that's what I was referring to. I don't think if Zack was given $70 million, right, to do a one, make this movie and give the world the Snyder Cut, and that's it. He probably would have changed the ending and kind of like a little farewell. If this was truly the end, he would have made it maybe not end on a cliffhanger, or at least that's what I think.
What's funny is everybody thinks that's the end of the movie.
Okay. So,
you know what I mean? Everybody thinks that's the end of the movie because they saw a storyboard image where people thought that was the end of the movie. Honestly, you don't know what the end of the movie is because nobody has seen it. So again, we run with speculation and rumors because that's what we are conditioned because somebody else told us, and I always tell people when you watch something and you hear something in a film, something can change that fast.
Right.
This can be the end of the movie, or you know what? Fuck it. Let's put it at the beginning of the movie and then we could take it and flip it. That's what Memento did. You know what I mean? I mean, it throws people off. People think that this character's in a movie and this is what happens. I mean, cameos are very important too because they're not in a script. You don't have to pay somebody you don't have to cast somebody to be a cameo. You could just ask them, hey, do you want to do this part? Shit. I always go back to Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt was in Deadpool 2 and no one knew. Yeah. And guess what he got paid? A cup of coffee.
He got paid a cup of coffee for that?
He got paid in a cup of coffee. He didn't sign a contract. He didn't do anything. He just stepped on set, got paid a cup of coffee and did a few minutes and he was done.
Because you had asked that question the other day on Twitter. And I said, I responded to it. I can't remember exactly what you asked. You said, how would you get, I literally, actually, I can't remember it. I don't want to try to answer, make something up in my head, but you would ask how to get someone in a movie, or what, basically that question that you just asked.
Yeah.
And I said, you ask them to do it in hopes that it continues later on, and you could work together again. So I mean,
you can officially cast them in the role and be like, hey,
because as you guys said on that the stream that you guys did where you guys were dropping tea. That's what I remember. That's what I called it, the dropping tea episode.
The tea dropping.
Yeah, tea dropping episode. You know, when you said that he was Green Lantern, they couldn't do the contract because you can't write a new contract for a movie that was back in 2017.
And that's like Zack. I always say, because we always bring up Green Lantern, people always want to hear the talk of Green Lantern, because people just, the talk about Green Lantern isn't because he's in the movie or he's not in the movie. It's because this person said this and this person said that. And so you're wrong because you said this and you're wrong because you said that. And you put your whole thing on there and you said this. And it's like, shut the fuck up. Like, you know, like at the end of the day, I'm just like, shut the fuck up. Like, no one cares. And I'm sitting here like, the best part of it all, Zack wanted his Green Lantern in a nightmare world to be Jon Stewart. And he also wanted Hal Jordan, right? He also wanted a lot of lanterns. There's so many different Green Lanterns in this world that people are going to be surprised, because Zack even said that the Green Lantern that he has at the beginning of the movie, the one that showed up in the history lesson, that is his Green Lantern, but that's not his Green Lantern.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Like, there's so many different Green Lanterns in this movie, or they're going to be referenced here, that people are going to be blown away by what they're going to see, because there's probably characters in this movie that nobody knows about.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's what I mean by cameos. I wasn't just talking in reference to Green Lantern. I saw the comment there. It's in reference to all the other characters that Zack is putting in this movie that we don't know about. People didn't even know that Granny Goodness was in this film. And then all of a sudden it became, oh, I told you he's in. No, fucking no, you did it.
Yeah.
Trying to look for clout, because the shit's not fucking up above your head. You can't pull it down and just put it in your pocket.
Right.
Just accept the fact that it's there, because that right there just showed everybody that literally there's so many characters in this movie that you're not even going to be able to see it in one go. You're going to have to pause it. You're lucky it's on HBO Max that you can pause it and go back, because that's what that's what a lot of people are going to do. HBO Max is going to fail as a platform because everyone's going to pause the movie and go backwards.
Yeah.
And then everything, it's going to crash. And that's what I'm waiting for.
Like Disney Plus crashed the other night. Ridiculous. At 2:30 in the morning, it crashed because everyone was waiting up to do it. So if Disney Plus WandaVision crashed, I can't imagine the traffic that's coming through on the 18th at HBO. I truly and this is what people forget, is like, this is history, right? This is a historic film, and we get to be a part of it. And like, people are always just so like stop being so mad. Get happy. Like, this is something we're never going to get to live through again. Do you really want to look back on it and remember that you hated everything and everyone during such an iconic, pivotal point in film history? I know.
No, yeah, that's perfectly said. You know, I 100% agree with you. That's perfectly said. This is one of those moments that people are going to look back and tell their kids, like, oh, by the way, if you watch this movie should have never been made. What do you mean? Well, here, watch this one first and then go watch this one, and you could tell me the difference. Yeah. And it's going to be one of those movies where people literally put them side by side, and people, once this movie drops, there's going to be so many videos out there comparing the films and comparing everything. It's going to be overloaded that everybody is going to this should be in common knowledge by time April hits, that everybody should be fully aware that these two movies are not the same in any way. And all the people that stated otherwise, or stated that, what's funny is when people state who's in a film, they're only stating what Zack had shown.
Yeah.
They're not stating what Zack hasn't shown. So the moment Zack didn't show Granny Goodness, now everybody was like, I told you he was in it. No, you didn't.
No, you didn't.
No, you didn't. Just stop.
Yeah.
Stop. Just stop. Don't even pull it.
Yeah. And think about that, right? Zack was like, you know what? Let's drop Granny Goodness in this trailer, right? Like,
Yeah.
there's so many people in this film that like, let's drop Granny Goodness in the trailer reveal, right? Get people talking about that. But meanwhile, we don't even know on March 18th what we're about to see. Like, and if you're right, and I do think you are, the amount of cameo or characters that we're actually going to get in this film, and I'm super excited. I really am. I'm grateful to be a part of this fandom. Most days, at least. Most days I am. Most days.
I like level-headedness. I like people that have a voice and opinion, but they do it in a manner that is respectful, and they treat the other person that they're talking to with respect. And I think sometimes we forget about that. And I think sometimes that, again, we're on an age where digital social media conversations are what's driving communication today, and people still don't know how to communicate verbally with each other face to face. So how do you think they're going to do it non-verbally?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're going to do it in a way that is tarnishing. They don't have human communication skills, and they show it by the lack of resources that they have available to them, because everybody can just fucking pull up a website and look something up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if you don't know something, but you want to act like you know it, you just pull it up on the internet and look and say, oh, I know it, you know? And it's like, there's a little bit more meta involved, and
for sure. And someone did ask this, and I think it's a good question. Do you think that they'll release it kind of like they did Wonder Woman? Like at the noon, Wonder Woman dropped at noon that day that it came out, right?
Oh yeah, because I think they did it because of Christmas morning. They want everybody to enjoy their Christmas morning for people that celebrate, and then they gave people time, to watch it as a family,
or at least any insight on when it could drop.
I think that somebody posted it, right? Wasn't it something like 2 a.m. or something on the East Coast?
It's not fucking 2 a.m. Please tell me it's not 2 a.m.
It's like 2 a.m. on the East Coast, and it's like at midnight or something on the West Coast or some shit.
I don't know.
In certain countries, it's dropping at like 3 in the afternoon. I mean, honestly, I have no clue of when the film's going to drop on HBO Max.
And that leads me to, with recent history, it seems everything for the Snyder Cut gets leaked. Is there a chance this movie gets leaked?
Oh yeah, like any movie, there's a chance it gets leaked. I mean, the best part of all is, to me, the best part of all is that people are still going to watch it.
Countdown website?
What happened?
I don't know if this is true, but someone said there's an official countdown website. I didn't look.
Oh,
I didn't see any of these, but okay.
Yeah, there it is. 12 a.m. Pacific Standard Time in March 18th. I don't know if that's correct, but that sounds pretty cool. I mean, if it's at midnight or that morning,
well, guess we'll be up all night, baby. That's all right.
I guess I already took a week off, man. I'm like,
I have 2 months off because of the dog, so woo.
There it is, man.
Chilling. But I just think we all know it's getting a huge international release now, right? Yep. So that means there are going to be several vendors that have this film given to them to drop in their respective regions. Mm-hmm. That brings the probability of someone leaking it exponentially higher, doesn't it?
Yes and no. I mean, yeah, every film has leaks, but again, every film, you have to sign NDAs, you got to find confidential agreements, you got to sign, contracts saying if it leaks, if, these are the damages that you'll have to pay and things like that. There's a lot at stake with new digital films like this, where they try to hold into account all the different scenarios. And again, this isn't a trailer, this is a full film. So it's like, yeah, there's always a chance it could leak, or there's a chance somebody can just get their hands on it and drop it online, or throw it up. I mean, yeah, it's going to be up on pirate websites. I mean, that's obvious, right? But it's the amount of people that we're trying to build awareness for now to be like, hey, just go watch it. You know what I mean? Just go watch it. If you're going to watch it, just go pay $14.99 and you can watch it as many times as you want for a month. You know what I mean? 4K
UHD, not on like a pirating website. Yeah.
If $14.99 is breaking the bank to watch the film, I will fucking pay your $14.99 to watch. You know what? That's a good idea. I think I should put out a giveaway for like 5 subscriptions or like
I'll
10
join in on
subscriptions.
that.
To give free subscriptions to people for HBO Max
I'll
for the
join
first month.
That.
You know what I mean? Just so they can watch it.
I'll put up 3 because I'm not as rich as you. I'm just kidding.
I know I make so much money off of LightCast.
Get paid more money than anybody,
Yeah, I could slow down. I don't have to. Hey, all right, I don't have to be in a corner of a room somewhere with. I don't know. I don't want to start like making comments, man, because someone's gonna be like, "Oh, he's talking about this person," and yeah.
Well, exactly what we talked about earlier. The story starts changing.
Yeah, it's like, no, if I had something to say to somebody, I'll say it to you directly.
Yeah.
So
we got like 10 more minutes left. Do you have any questions? You're the one person, Matt, that I've ever heard Justice turn around on his view of like Superman's arc, which I still thought was very impressive.
Well,
hero's journey when you explained it to him.
Yeah, well, you gave me different insight.
Oh, Walter Hamada's here, everybody.
Look at that! Wow, we're getting.
Yeah.
It wasn't necessarily a change. It was more of you just gave me a different insight that I didn't have in general. That whole concept applies to a lot more than just Superman, right? It applies to damn near every hero story told. So, typically speaking, I'm not this quiet. You're very much a teacher because I just kind of listen.
No, man.
Absolutely.
I mean, I'm glad that if like you can apply that to any story. And I'll tell you this right now, like I think we were talking on the phone earlier before we started the show, and I was in the middle of my own sessions. And part of what I do in some of my clinical sessions is I actually teach a hero's journey on a more behavioral therapy level, where if you're dealing with like behavioral management and you don't know how to control your own emotions and your own feelings and you don't know how to explore that, I do lessons in the sense that I can, use something that somebody knows and create a hero's journey in their map to discovering themselves by going through this process, because it's more of an internal reflection of ourselves. So you're internalizing your own abilities into these superpowers that you can reflect on and realize that you went through your own journey, to get where you're at. And, that kind of applies to everybody, because sometimes we're the hero and villain of our own story, but we have to choose, are we the hero or are we the villain? And I had a great response. And one of the best responses I got was somebody did this and they said that I was the villain of my own story. And I said, why did you choose to be the villain? And the response kind of shook me a little bit. Was they chose to be the villain because they wanted the hero to save them. And to me, that kind of sparked me. I was like, wow, I've never, like the way it was described to me, the way that they saw it was, I'm the villain of my own story because of all the bad things I've done, but I want the hero to save me. And it's almost like they want themselves to save them, and they're looking for that help. And sometimes he saw the villain as somebody reaching out, looking for help. And sometimes the hero doesn't save them. They just push them somewhere else, or take them out of their home, for instance, or send them into prison, or send them somewhere else, or kick them out of school. And so, it's quite interesting in a way that we can use heroes in these stories of mythology, character mythology like Marvel and DC, to apply to our everyday life and look at it from the perspective of somebody that's dealing with a lot of issues, to say that they want the hero to save them because they're the villain. I mean, that's really deep, like reflection.
How old is that kid?
I can't tell you.
Okay. Well, I'm assuming he's younger than 18, so that's impressive. Yes. That's impressive. Because I can tell you that, I wasn't thinking that deep when I was that young, right? Like we can all pretend that we were, but most of us were focused on other things or whatever. But that's really,
I know what I was focused on.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna hold that back. That's what I was focused on when I was in school. Yeah,
that and the other gender.
Yeah,
But that's awesome, and I that's why for our project that we're doing, which we haven't really told anyone about yet, and we can't yet, or we don't want to yet. That's why we asked you to do the part that you're doing.
Yeah,
is because,
I'm excited, man.
Yeah, because you you're just the way the first time that we ever had you on, like kind of what he just said, like when you started talking, I just, rather than like try to interview you, I was just listening, and I learned a lot from it. And it wasn't something I was familiar with. I was at least familiar with the concept, but not like intimately familiar with it. And the way you told it was done very well, or at least
thank you.
Portrayed to me very well. And I always appreciated that. I really am. I'm gonna miss you on the LightCast, man. But we'll always have you back. I know where. Yeah. I know where.
Yeah, you can find me.
At this point.
What happened?
I say you're stuck with us at this point. Basically.
Yeah, I'm here, right? It's the same with the nerdy and the four nerds. I can't shake Ryan for some reason at ZebraFed. He's Ryan at ZebraFed. He's like, he's everywhere. I was talking to him on the phone the other day, and it was funny. He's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" He's like, "I'm in a truck driving on a it was like an 18-footer or something." He's like, I hit a tree last time, but I'm good now. And I'm like, "You're talking to me on the phone while you're driving this truck? You hit a tree?" And he's like, "Nah, it's cool. Don't worry about it."
He's another one I would love to have on anytime he wants. So
yeah, Ryan's great. Ryan's actually, we have some pretty deep conversations, me and him sometimes.
Dawson's gonna join me tomorrow. It's gonna be fun. We've been doing like the Nicotino watch party for WandaVision together, and I didn't really know him that before that, but they're all great guys. They really are. Truly.
They're fun. They're fucking hilarious to talk to, though.
Anthony had me dying laughing the other day. I didn't realize that, like, he really is the It's Fire kid. 100%.
I actually, surprisingly, I watch all his sports stuff. He probably knows that now, but I know he does the DC and stuff with Wonder Meg. But I watch a lot of his sports channels because I'll sit there because I love sports, and I'll sit there and just like, fuck yeah, bro. I'm like, I got you, and I'm like, I know it. I hella get down on those. I'm like, hey man, you ever want to do some MMA or some kickboxing? I'll fucking jump in.
Yeah. He had said that. He said that he did that, and I was like, oh, really? I didn't even know that.
Yeah,
so
I would absolutely love to go on that. Just talk football. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I'm all about it.
Yeah. Matt, thank you. Well, I mean, we're getting to the 2-hour mark. Probably wrap it up now. But thank you so much. I really appreciate this. I'm glad that we ended up getting to do it today. I really am.
Yeah, it was fun, man.
And you're always, you're always welcome here.
Always.
Truly. I can't wait. Can't wait for Wednesday. We'll be having Film Junkie on, but what time is your show?
I don't know. What time are you gonna do yours?
I don't know. I didn't even talk to him about that. Wednesday, so probably later in the day, like 9 o'clock our time.
Typically.
What is that my time? Like 6 o'clock?
6 o'clock your time.
I think we drop at like 5:30.
So I'll be able to watch it first then.
Yeah, I think we drop at 5:30 p.m. I don't know where that puts you guys. I could probably push it up a little bit and see if they want to do that.
Yeah, if you can. I would love to watch it beforehand.
Maybe push it up an hour, maybe 4:30. We might move the time.
But again, don't fucking do it on my account. If it's something that you guys are willing to do, then that's of course. Yeah.
Nah, man. I mean, if you want, it'd be great conversation stuff to hear. Some of the stuff that Sam was saying, and it'd be great conversation. I know you're gonna have Film Junkie, and I know he has a lot to say about it as well, because he's been following it very closely. So yeah, I think it'll be a good. Yeah, I'll look at that and see if we can get it moved up an hour.
Yeah. Truly though, thank you so much as always. And guys, make sure to give Matt a shout out. Let him know that you guys care and that you wish him well after he goes behind the scenes on March 17th. I know I'm making something for him now, which I can't wait to give to you. It's going to be really fun. I called in a few favors, but it is what it is.
Awesome.
It was an enjoyable experience for me. Make sure we just launched our Patreon program. All the links are in the description.
Nice.
Subscribe to the channel. Ring the notification bell. It's very convenient. I enjoy it for all the persons I'm subscribed to. And make sure that you watch LightCast and Sam Benjamin on Wednesday at we don't know what time yet. 4:30, 5:30 Pacific Daylight.
We'll say 4:30. We'll say 4:30 p.m. Pacific time.
4:30. Matt, thank you guys. Thank you and Taylor so much. Next time you talk to Taylor, let him know we really did appreciate it.
Yeah, man, I will. I'll give him a call later tonight. I'll let him know.
All right, Justice, want to take us out?
Matt, thank you so much for joining us, guys. Thank you for watching. We already kind of let you guys know as leading into this, but all of February is going to be like this, guest spots and things of that sort. So just bear with us. We have a great time. You see how we do around here. We get great people like Matt and Taylor to come around. So don't be mad. We'll be back soon with the regular format. Hopefully you guys are enjoying what we are doing. Check us out, guys. If you haven't already, like, subscribe, follow, do the whole 9. This one, he's streaming on a regular basis. Sometimes I join, sometimes Jack joins, sometimes we have a random guest. But we're keeping content flowing on a regular basis, guys. We want to keep you entertained. We want to keep you informed and all that good stuff. So please like, subscribe, because we do it for you. We do it for the culture.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.